I've set the camera up so that you will just be like you're looking over my shoulder. Now the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take our L square and we're going to draw what I call our base square. Now I've got the L square pushed back away from the edge of the paper and up from the bottom so that you've got some room to maneuver after you've drawn your pattern. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw an L. Now we're going to take measurement N and we're going to measure up from the bottom right here. We're going to measure up our measurement N, and this is going to be the clavicle to front waist. We're starting with the front here. And you want to hold it down firmly with your hand so that it doesn't wiggle. And mark the top right there. And then we're going to do the waist, which is measurement E. And we're going to take it from the final column. So now you can see we've got the first two steps. We've got our waist, and we've got our waist to clavicle measurement. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the edge of our square and we're going to lay it right here against the lines, and then we're going to put the top edge here at the top where the mark is, so that you've got a nice right angle. It's important when you're drafting that you make sure that you have nice clean right angles when you're drafting, otherwise your pattern will get tweaked out of position and you'll end up with very odd fitting errors and you wonder, what did I do wrong? So the next measurement we want O for the shoulder front, and you just draw that across. Now our next measurement will be B, shoulder point to neck, and we'll measure in from the end point of the shoulder in towards the neck. And we'll just measure in, put the end, so mine is 6, so I'll measure in from the end point of the shoulder in towards the neck, and I'll mark it right here. Now, we will lay the square up like this so that the corner's right here where the mark is, and we will lay it right there, and we will measure up our front shoulder rise, which is measurement P. And you just draw a nice straight line like that, and then you will connect the point right here with the end point right here, making a nice little triangle. And this right here will be your shoulder seam. That's the angle at which your shoulder actually, which the fabric needs to be at to cover your shoulder. All right, so the next measurement we'll put in will be the arm's eye, and for that we need measurement H, and again put the L square, put the bottom part of the L square right up against the waistline, put the corner right here at the end, and measure up your arm's eye. Now the top of your arm's eye is where we're going to put the chest measurement. So put the front part of your L square right here. Put the top part, so have the front edge be right up against the front line. Have the top part be right here so that it's right up against the top of your arm's eye. And then draw out your chest measurement, which is measurement C. Now we're going to connect the waist mark with the end of the chest mark, and that's your side seam right there. Now the next bit is that we're going to do the arm's eye. Now for this, I like to measure in 1/2 inch from the edge of the shoulder. And I like to bring it down. And you can just draw this in by freehand. And then for the neck, I like to draw it down like this. And there you have a rough front block. There's a lot you can do with this. You can we're gonna fit this before we make it into a pattern. But in order how to make this into a pattern, it's very easy. You just start drawing different style lines. For instance, if I wanted to make this a round neck, I would measure in about here, and I'd measure in, I'd measure down from my clavicle down to where on the front I wanted the neckline to be, say about 2.5 inches. I'd measure how wide I wanted my shoulder straps to be, and then I would just draw over and create a neckline. Or if I wanted it to be a square neck, I would draw a square neck. Now, the next bit we're going to do is we're going to add seam allowances to this. So the parts on here that we need to add seam allowances to are, for the fitting, are the side seams and the shoulder seams. So I'm marking with a different color of pen my seam allowances here for the fitting. When I go to, you notice I do not put any seam allowances on the arm's eye, and that's because this is all going to get changed when we do the fitting. The first thing you fit when you fit a pattern is you fit the arm's eye. Now for the front, this is going to be a front opening dress, and so I need to actually make sure that there's enough fabric in front that I can grab onto it and pin it. So I'm actually going to add 2 inches. That's about what I find works well. I'm going to add 2 inches to the front of this. So this fabric will not actually be part of my finished pattern, but I need to have extra fabric in front so that I can hold on to it and pin it for the fitting process. So there we have our finished front block, and now it's time to move on to the back.